back, ladies and gentlemen, to the North American Challenger Series. It's time for Game 2 in the semifinal match between Cloud9 Tempest and Curse Academy. After a stunning Game 1 victory for C9T, will Curse Academy have enough to take it back to Game 2 and maybe even Game 3 here? Or will Cloud9 Tempest seal the deal and advance to victory?
Yeah, well, Cloud9 Tempest did a great job of shutting down MashMe early with 2 early 4-man ganks bottom, but it didn't really get them going enough. MashMe didn't die.
Yeah.
And he
killed people around him.
Yeah, he killed people around him, and also at the same time had really good CS throughout the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was Altec, who went 7-0 and 17? 7-0 and 17 on Vayne, never dying. And Bishu had a great game, setting up great fights and effective use of his shockwave. Really, just added to that support style mid and allowed Altec to make those late game plays on Vayne.
Yeah.
And then we had Yazuki, who recovered better from the 2v1 lane swap than I had anticipated. That rise up top was really good.
There was a point where he was still level 1, lost 2 turrets. Yazuki on the other side, or not Yazuki, sorry, but Rux was sitting there at like level 3 or 4. Yazuki still got the better of it.
Yeah, just an incredible all-around for him.
Absolutely.
And, you know, Curse Academy, they were off to a great start. And to win Game 2, Curse Academy what they need to do is to have more success in the early game.
Yeah.
They got off to a great start. 5K gold advantage.
Yeah.
But Cloud9 Tempest team composition and their mid-game decision-making just sealed the deal. So the first 10 minutes of the game, it went really well for them, but they need to do a better job of carrying and closing out.
Yeah, there's one thing that stood out to me actually as a really big mistake from Curse Academy is Rux went top lane to hold the minion wave and let C9T grab a dragon in a 5v4. It's like, okay, yeah, I know Cloud9 had kind of set up the minion wave to push in time, like that was all well orchestrated, but a minion wave is not worth a dragon going to the other side, to the other team. He was not going to rotate in time, and C9T saw that and rushed it down.
Yeah, that's the superior decision-making we were talking about, where they knew what they wanted. And Duosec has to step it up, too. Because going against Bishu, he ended the game with a really good score, a lot of assists, getting the assist spree going for himself. But Duosec just really unheard from this game on the LeBlanc.
Nothing big. It'd be cool to see him on something like Ziggs or Orianna, where like if he isn't gonna be able to make plays because Bishu holds him down, then just play a farm heavy like late game champion and just like, you know what, MashMe's getting big farm. You can play a team fight base game, that's fine. But yeah, LeBlanc definitely didn't work for him.
Yeah, that's true. And now that we've swapped sides, they could get their last pick in the mid lane if they want to. And nobody's going into, because it could be one of those things where if you pick your mid lane early, then Bishu is like, oh, you want to farm? I'm going to go Zed.
Yeah, let me counterpick you, make it happen. Here we go, Cloud9 Tempest on the blue side, Curse Academy in red. Finally, the teams match their team colors here. I feel like it's always a little bit helpful if you can match your team colors here. And then we're in blue. See what the first band goes for. Is there anything that Curse Academy picked up that they're afraid of? It's really the question, because, I mean, their bans worked last time. They won the game.
Yeah, I don't really know. They just have to ban out more of the same. Maybe the Renekton, maybe dissuade the Renekton pick again. Did a great job of it previously. So, we'll have to see.
Well, it's interesting to look at how the band sort of trends move, because like I feel like there's like first pick worthy champions. Like if like Lulu or something or like LeBlanc's available, it seems to be a common first pick. But then a champion like Pantheon doesn't get first picked, and like you risk it going to the red team. And so that's like, well, Cloud9 Tempest is going to ban that. Even though Kez had a great Pantheon game, says, well, we're not going to first pick Pantheon. We don't want to risk giving it to you, so we'll ban that. We'll ban LeBlanc as well. We're not ready to rush that.
Yeah. Might also make them ban something like Elise. So Cloud9 Tempest doesn't pick that up first. Using one of those bans on Nidalee, so they don't want Bishu picking that up.
Yeah.
Kassadin. Oh, so they banned Kassadin.
Interesting. Bishu wants to play something long ranged again. Maybe he goes back for the Orianna sets of Altec again and keeps that style going. We'll see. Got now another ban for Curse Academy to go for. They could remove the Rise from Yazuki, because Aatrox didn't work in that case.
Yeah. They
could remove the Vayne from Altec. They could be afraid of first pick Sivir. That's a big one to think about.
They're definitely taking their time with this. Might be a Rise, might be an Elise.
Yeah, Elise is a good choice as well. Kaz is a great Elise player. It is Elise.
Yeah.
So is it Vayne? Is it Sivir? Is it a support pick? No, it's Jungle Evelynn. I'm surprised. I forget if that was... I think it was banned actually the first time around.
It was.
Evelynn was a ban for Curse Academy. They decided, well, we'll ban Elise, but just gives away Eve. I feel like the Elise ban a bit wasted then.
That's true. That's extremely true. But I mean, they would first pick Elise if it was left open.
Yeah, but then the question is like the incremental value of like Elise versus Evelynn worth the fact you could ban something else out?
It really depends, because now it looks like Cloud9 Tempest are going to go for an early game composition because of Elise, You know, her late game scaling is kind of iffy. There's like 3 different builds with her. You go AP, a lot of people are favoring the AD builds in solo queue. But in team fighting, you really are minimal damage, more just chasing people down and being a threat. But early on, you'd look to dominate lanes. So might look for some late game scaling champions that Evelyn can help scale into late game.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Curse Academy definitely looking. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. See what they go for. Curse Academy definitely looking for their own sort of set of stats here. Ziggs does come through for Duosec. I like that choice. It's going to set him up, I think, better for his lane as well as better for team fights. So already you've got Ziggs, Annie. Great team fight presence. Tibbers into Mega Inferno Bomb is ludicrously good.
All that AoE damage, too. And wave clear. Something they lacked in Game 1 on Curse Academy's side. The LeBlanc, we saw Duosec go for the lane clear, and he got Rune Imprisoned.
Yep.
The Distortion Mimic didn't work out for him that time. And now he doesn't have to risk himself, his body, and the damage in his HP pool to accomplish that.
Just going to throw water balloons or snow cones. It's no big deal. Cloud and Tempest are going to pick these same solo lanes as last time. They're not afraid of any of the counter picks. Ryze top lane, Orianna back in the mid. I think Altec's about to pick Vayne again. I feel like Cloud and Tempest will pick the same comp because it worked last time.
So Cloud9 Tempest now in the 4.3 with all of the changes. They opt for a very aggressive jungler, and then they aren't afraid to pick their solo lanes blindly. Like, we're just going to pick scaling solo lanes that play safe, that Evelyn can help out every now and then. But here's the thing too, is that Ryze is very safe, but he also has gank assistance, so it's easy to gank for him with the Rune Prison. So a lot of people who scale into the late game don't have a tool like that. It's a lot of the early games like Renekton, who can Ruthless Predator you in the top lane. With Shyvana, you gank for Shyvana, there isn't a lot of follow-up.
No.
So I like the pick, and I like that Ryze is coming back up into the top lane. Haven't seen him in a while since the tier nerfs, but now with the buffs to him, slight. He's coming back in.
See if it works out for him there. You'll see the Thresh hovered over by Glebe. Altec will make his choice soon. Pat is going to pick a new champion this time around, though. Didn't go back for, what did he play last time? Kha'Zix. Wasn't picked or banned, but it's the Lee Sin pickup anyway. Rux, of course, still can pick up Aatrox. Could actually play Lee Sin, too, if he wanted to. It is in his solo queue pool. Kennen, actually another champion that Rux plays a lot of. You can see that one swapped around, and Cloud and Tempest does go for the same comp. But to be fair, instead of Pantheon, which I think actually won them the game because the mid-game engages, is an Evelyn. So I feel like if the same early game happens, much better for Curse Academy.
Yeah, same solo lanes, same AD carry, different support, different jungler.
Oh yeah, they swapped supports.
Yeah, they swapped supports.
My bad.
Andy and Thresh is still in the game, just opposite sides now.
Yep. So Pat's going to be on Lee Sin. The mid lane swapped away as well here for Curse Academy. So very few changes for both teams. Both teams pretty happy with the direction of their comps, just picking different champions in some of the roles to accentuate it better. We'll see what happens though. Curse Academy had such a good levels 1 through 4, and then it fell apart. I want to see if they can keep that going, or if they got something else up their sleeve to get this game.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I like the Cloud9 Tempest composition. They just ran it last game, and it was very convincing in the late game.
Yeah.
Curse Academy, they say they're going to try more of the same, but with little variations. Put a little twist on it. Now they have more wave clear, so they can stand the late game if it gets to that point, and Duosec can farm and match Bishu. Are they going to lane swap again? Are they going to do it? Because it's Aatrox versus Ryze. Once again, it's Sivir versus Vayne.
Yeah. I mean,
go either way.
The thing is, I feel like Curse Academy have the better 2v2 and the better 1v1. I think those are both perfectly acceptable, and you could just place standard lanes and go for it. Now, the lane swap did work for them on a strategic level. That was really impressive to me, that they made that one work, and they got a lead from it. But as far as early game matchups go, they're fine to play standard. So I don't know, like it's kind of like no matter what they do, it should be better for them based on history and based on like expected matchups. So I still feel like that's a good thing for Curse Academy. I just want to see him do more. Now, the other thing I do want to point out though is Lee Sin against Vayne. It kind of depends on how you play it, but I like Lee Sin into Vayne because you have the reveal for the stealth, and if you kick her into your team, she's going to die. But the difficulty is that Vayne can outplay the Lee Sin pretty easily with like a condemn, like in the middle of a safeguard, and break that whole sort of play. So I think if the sort of push to Vayne happens, it's going to be on how well Altec plays it.
Curse Academy, they're going 5-man strong right here. All of them with Doran's items, except for the junglers. So looking for the early damage. Thinking Invade's coming out here.
Let's see what they can find. They've pinged up 2 of the likely rush spots. Mashby hiding in the side. Of course, K1 did charge his stun on Annie right now.
Find Evelyn, shut her down. That's the mission here.
Thing is, it's so hard to do that because Eve will see you before you see her, and she can get away from you.
But if they're sitting in a camp.
Yeah. But like if like Eve were like right there where that lily pad is,
would see him first.
would see him come in, not know that they see her, like they wouldn't see her, and he'd be safe. Like Yasuki can spot them, but then he's in flash stun range. Like right now they know he's there.
He's gonna back it off.
It will give. I'm surprised that Curse Academy didn't stay to get ward coverage, because I think they'd be the stronger team because of Annie's stun and everything.
Kez is gonna go for the blue.
Now, the thing is, now Cloud and Tempest, without using the ball, and Bishu hasn't learned a skill yet, they can't know if there's ward coverage. They don't know like if people are sitting in that brush still, what's going on, and so the jungler, like Kez, he puts the ward down for safety. No one's stopping him to put this down, and so he can start the blue, but he has no idea if Curse Academy is coming to stab him right now.
So it's a lane swap by Cloud9 Tempest this time. They're going to put Ryze in the bottom lane. Also, Ryze is helping out, or Yasuki's helping out Kez at the blue buff, and they warded their own. So they will know if Lee Sin goes straight from his red to Cloud9 Tempest's blue. If he goes to his own blue, he's going to lose out on a lot of jungle time.
He will. We'll see what happens. The lane swap did get sniffed out by Curse Academy. They're going to put the 2v2 matchup here in the top lane. And I want to see how this one pans out. Annie, just a very strong champion overall. See if she can make things go down for these guys. Bishu, happy to chill. In the mid lane now. Farm lane in the mid lane. Probably not going to be much here. Yasuki going to push around. There's the knock-up in from Rux. Honestly, this should be Aatrox's matchup. And look at the damage coming through.
Ooh.
Not afraid to fight.
Tried to throw a Q, didn't get it. So Rux doesn't even have his W right now for the sustain. He just has his Dark Flight to go ahead and get close to Ryze. And oh, here comes the counter.
He finds Kez. Good damage early on. The flash from Annie. Pat's going to go for this buff. Smite up for both these guys. Pulls it almost into the brush. Picks it up.
Off on the side. So yeah, he's going to get both of his buffs here. Could have been catastrophic for Pat, but he plays it right and comes around from the exact side that's going to give him the best advantage. And now Kez has to go to his own red. The question is Lee Sin going to be there once again?
Such good play. Actually, Lee Sin's looking to stab him at the wolf camp. Look at this. Pat's going to find Kez without flash.
Oh!
Oh, he dodged the Q. Big.
Ooh.
That was big. He would have died.
Yeah, he doesn't have his Dark Frenzy just yet, so he couldn't remove the slow if it was applied to him. And the lane swap is actually going pretty even right now. And now he's
killing some wolves.
Getting the wolves. Stealing away the jungle. You got to go bully the jungle.
Yeah.
Keep tabs on Evelynn. Don't let her get to these lanes, especially when these lanes don't have early game power. These are late game scaling lanes.
And I like how long Pat is waiting before he starts his own blue buff. He can give it his eggs later on. Doesn't need it right now. He can just counter jungle for a while.
What's down? They didn't clear it.
Oh.
Kez is wearing it.
Oh, I'm just stupid.
Because it looks like it's up, right? That's why Kez is level 2. He didn't
I'm just really not
it.
smart. Okay. So we're good. Just kidding. Hasn't cleared the marker. Shame on you, Pat.
And now he doesn't have the timer. He won't know.
Okay, here we go. Rux taking a little bit of pain. Does not know Evelynn's waiting in the wings. Lee Sin nowhere around. Rux still getting some damage down.
Whew.
Yeah, Yasuki's getting him low-ish before the fight actually happens so they can burst him out of the passive. Good slow is going to stop that.
It's a level 2 Kez, but of course with the gank assistance from Yasuki on Ryze. Could have been successful there. Aatrox, he can always jump out of it, but he'd take a boatload of damage. And now we have Pat going around the side. They do see him with the ward, and he does have a level advantage over Kez currently. And Kez actually hasn't gotten a lot accomplished in the last couple of minutes. He has no potions. Next camp that he clears, he's going to take some damage. But it will give him level 3.
And he'd be able to get Spirit Stone by then, and then just kind of go and farm around in the jungle. So, not too sad. The CS is a little bit deceptive because he has killed the big golem and whatnot, which is of course a lot of golden experience.
So the ward came down into that bush, and Pat almost walked up to it to reveal himself, but decides to just take the long way around. He actually ward jumps over the wall.
Ooh. He's unspotted coming in here.
Oh,
he's seen.
Yeah,
he doesn't know that he's seen, is the funny thing.
Foot slipped out of the bush.
And there's going to be almost no possible successful dive here for Curse Academy. Going to be Pat backing off. There's pings, actually, that Lee Sin might have gone towards the mid lane. They don't know where Pat is right now, except that he might be coming in behind Orianna.
They're actually leading him on with the pings. So the blue pings going like, oh, go up. And now he's going to find a camp to clear.
This is great. I like this, though. Pat knows he will outfight Kez in the jungle. Lee Sin's going to do better than Evelynn here, and so he's just taking camps away. He's further delaying the level 6 from Kez, which is really the first time that ganks start to really matter from Evelynn unless you have a lane with crowd control.
Yeah, and Evelynn, like you said, can't duel Lee Sin one-on-one. Because she's so effective in her stealth and positioning, that is where most of her kit power comes from, not from straight up fighting. Now Pat, he's still roaming around. He's looking for camps.
He's looking to see if Evelynn's there at double golem, so it's unlikely. She's not there. Q reveals the camp is gone. Still waiting around looking for Yazuki. Honestly, neither jungler has been killing many camps in the last like 2 minutes. They've all been like waiting around like, will something happen bottom lane? And it almost does every time.
And here's that thing I was talking about earlier. Oh, K1.
Stun onto K1. He's on the wrong side of the map right now. The jump in from the lantern, the hook as well. Kill goes to Altec in the 2v2 matchup. Nicely done.
Once again, just adding more to that KDA. That is just so high up there right now. And K1, he's the new guy on Curse Academy. And he's coming up a little short in these matches.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not, unfortunately, super impressed with them just yet. See if he can make things happen a little bit later in this game, but early laning not too great here. Very small CS lead for MASH, but honestly, getting a champion kill first blood worth a heck of a lot more. Altec level 5, going to be able to recall back. Probably has about 1,600 gold right now. Pick up whatever he wants. 1,850. It's close.
Yeah. Probably go for Bilgewater Cutlass straight off.
Yeah, and boots or a dagger, I'm not sure which you'd go for. Actually, you can get almost both.
That's true.
Be Pat killing away this little lizard camp right there. Cutlass, extra Doran's Blade actually is a pickup for Altec. Surprised he went for that, but wants a bit more health and damage. Okay. He's in a good spot though. Mashme still has not backed yet though. Has yet to put items into his inventory. Which means there's going to be a little bit of extra lane pressure here from the Vayne, because she'll be in lane with the waves, and then Mashme's going to still have to recall.
So Curse Academy are going to get outscaled once again if they just sit around. Cloud9 Tempest are off to a better start than they were last game, and Curse Academy are not in the same position that they previously were. Their team comp changed a bit, so they have more late game power in terms of wave clear, but they still do have a weaker overall composition. When people think late game champions, they're like, oh, Vayne Rise.
Yeah.
Best scaling champions in the game for the most part.
Pretty much. Karth is kind of in there as an honorary mention. And if you're Shifter, Ziggs for sure.
That's true.
So there's some things to keep track of, but absolutely, I agree with you here on the general direction of the compositions. That Cloud and Temp is likely to keep going all the way up. 1-0 so far for these guys. 300 gold lead, which I gotta say, despite a 600 gold first blood, only a 300 gold actual lead here. So the laning phase by itself, not counting kills, great for Curse Academy.
It's mostly the jungle that's causing that difference. Is Kez has been getting counter jungled by Pat, so it's not just gold into Pat's pocket, it's gold that Kez has nowhere to even pick up.
Yeah. Experience as well.
Yeah, that's true.
6.25 versus 5. Pat's actually looking for a play on this red buff. Oh. It's going to be a little bit late, though. Kez picks it up, hits level 6.
It's like, is he going to throw a Q? Blind Q.
Bit late for the timer, unfortunately.
I guess every Q from Lee Sin is a blind Q. Even if you have vision, it's a blind Q.
You know, every time you grab him, even if you're in ranked, it's still a blind pick.
Huh? Okay. Okay.
So no Dragon attempt, though, for Curse Academy. They wanted to play for the red buff. They came a little bit late to it. And otherwise just kind of backed off there. They got pink ward control over the Dragon area, but they didn't convert it into much. Back to the 2v2 lane up top, 500 gold. 400 or 500 gold there, the lead. But a much slower game. You guys happy to play their laning phase?
A laning phase. We have a laning phase this game.
Yeah, I mean, last game was cool, though, to be fair.
It was. It was very exciting. And also, those are very high pressure, very tense situations on your shot caller.
Oh, yeah.
In the early game. You're like, do we go back? Do we defend this tier 2 top turret? And they're like, no, just keep pushing. Just get the turret. Because you have to do cost-benefit analysis. Do we defend it? It's going to take about half of its HP, and we won't lose it, but we won't even get a bottom turret in exchange for it. And then if you say, no, just go for it, you'll get the turret, but you'll lose the turret in response.
Exactly.
So it's like, do we allow overall just more gold on the map in general so everybody's a little buffer? Or do we keep it with that tiny lead we have?
There we go. Burst damage onto Yazuki. 1 hit to go for the...
Oh, it's flash!
Yeah, there it is. He was 2 hits away, but he got the empowered W. Massive damage coming out there. Maxing those blades second. Huge from Rux.
Blood price just scales so well. And the fact that you have your max in your blood well gives you more attack speed, and the massacre on top of it. In fact, when you close the distance on Rise, especially this early on, when he's still trying to scale up, you can get those kills, and Rux is going to come out big here. We talked about the featured matchup of those two against each other. Yeah. Now they're actually in a lane against each other. Before they weren't. It was 2v1s, and now we see Kez up top, going through the bushes, even though he's Evelyn and invisible. They still want to try and get a hook and convert that into a kill here with the ultimate from Kez, the Agnes Embrace. Slow him down.
Let's see what we got.
Oh, here comes Pity Pat.
Oh, it does not land the flay. Does not land the hook either. Sivir ult was popped, though. Will they get the re-engage from Pat? Flash Timber's not going to hit anything. Glebe Glarbu does flash out of that one. Nothing traded.
Okay. So the flay was just a little short because of the ultimate from Mash. Was able to get K1 out of the range of it. Barely. Just got the little girl's skirt there. Just clipped it right up. And the Tibbers, at the same time, very short. I was really actually stunned by that. It didn't land on me, but I was stunned by that. Oh, Tibber's going to check the bush for Kez.
Doesn't see him, though. It's not a champion.
Doesn't see him. It's not champion.
Not going to help. So they don't know that Kez has shown up. There's ulti on the 2. Pat shows up for the damage. Will they find much? Glebe taking damage. The kick from Altec lands the Q as well. Condemn back. Flash away from Kez, but Kez now getting chased. His W's down for 2 more seconds. Mash could land a high damage Q. No flash. Oh, he goes for Altec! The plays from Mashme, and Kez goes down as well. Beautiful from Curse Academy.
Altec's KDA. Not ruined, because it's his first death of the entire series, so it still technically stays the same. But here we're going to see, go straight in. They don't know Pat's there. He lands his Q onto Altec and kicks him. Boom, through Glebe, does the damage, goes after him, gets knocked back, says, oh no, I need to flash away, gets out. Kez overextends a tiny bit to go after Pat, and now they chase him down. Oh, flashes the Mega Inferno Bomb. That was the key there, because he didn't have flash to get out of the Boomerang Blade by that time, and he had his Tumble Bolt ready, so the cooldown wasn't even ticking on it, because it doesn't start until you release it.
Yep. So Mashme, though, I got to point out how cool that play was. So he saw Vayne because of the Mega Inferno Bomb, and then said he's in Tribrush right now, because he flashed it immediately without any further vision.
The lack
Very
of
impressive.
Lack of hesitation is something that I've always thought differentiates the good teams from the great teams.
Oh, yeah.
When there's no hesitation throughout your entire team. Like when you watch a team like SK Telecom, T1K, they're just the decisiveness in their movements, regardless of how aggressive they are.
Oh, yeah.
Even if they're hyper-aggressive, it's like, I'm going now.
And you trust the team to do it.
I'm level 3 Riven, boom, we're in.
Yep. Special talked about it when he was in the desk with us in the LCS. Said, you know, when I go over something, my team trusts me and they'll follow up.
Yeah.
They'll just do it because they trust that I made the right call there. And a lot of good calls made right there. 2,000 gold lead to Curse Academy. Really good start to these guys. See what they can keep going with this one. Mashme, 117 minions, 115 for the Ziggs of Duosec. See what else Curse Academy can do.
Bishu's got his farming pants on.
Yeah, he does.
He's he's above that 10 per minute mark, which means he's been farming Wraiths. He's been farming Wraiths and Wolves. Just getting them all the time. And I talked about this earlier, that's his play style typically when he wants to carry. He'll have big goose eggs, but then he shows up and you're like, wow, this 0-0-0 Orianna just blew up our team and now he's 4-0.
Yep.
The Shockwave Dissonance is an amazing combo. And Curse Academy, take a dragon fairly easily. Cloud9 Tempest don't even put up a fight.
Yeah.
Bishu getting a blue at the time.
Curse Academy committed the team to it, and honestly, they're better this early on. Like, you don't fight for Dragon when you've got Vayne Rise at 14 minutes. Like, it's not going to go well. It's actually the mistake that Dignitas made against TSM when they picked like that Quinn Kale comp. Like, the champs would work, but they fought a Leona team at 12 minutes when they haven't bought any real items. And Cloud9 Tempest know that mistake. They're not going to go for it right here. Gonna play for a while, wait for Rise of Vayne to tick up. It is on Curse Academy, though, to take as many edges as possible right now and get farther ahead.
It's their fault in game 1, too. They got ahead, but they just couldn't convert it into anything else. And it's quite possible that their laning phase just didn't last long enough because they didn't stay in the bully mode. They took the turrets very quickly instead of farming champions for a bit.
Yeah.
And just pushing advantages.
Yeah.
Normally people are like, oh, let's just take the turret as soon as possible. It's like, in that situation where you're a lane bully, I would say just sit on your hands for a while and keep the turret up and allow your jungler to position well.
That's definitely an option for guys.
But if you just close the turret up.
Of course. And I think that teams, even if you take the turrets rather quickly, you then play the rotation control game. Like, you never give up a dragon, right, which is a huge mistake that Curse Academy made last game. But you also then say, look, we're going to make... Oh, good tumble.
Get it.
Good condemn back. Okay. If he didn't get the tumble, though, that was close to a kill for Rux.
Okay.
But yeah, you then get ward control, and you start taking away buffs. Because you realize, look, anything that is not a turret should be ours, and you play in that mindset. And you say, blue buff ours, red buff ours, double golems ours, dragon ours. And then you just build a gold lead that way. Because you starve your opponents to nothing but lane farm.
Yeah. And Vision is how you execute that. In Curse Academy, they were trying to be on top of it, but Cloud9 Tempest were sweeping it out. And now Rux, he's coming in from the side to try and engage this fight.
Bijou on the backside, flashed on again, dodged away by Bijou. Second time we've seen Tibbers flashed away from, but it does give the mid lane turret. Good choice by Curse Academy.
K1, once again, he hasn't been very convincing to me. He's replacing Zekin. There's some pretty big shoes to fill in the amateur scene, in the challenger scene.
Yeah.
When you're going pro, Zekin has been on the LCS stage, and now K1, just there's some mild pressure here. Hasn't really landed to Tibbers all game.
No, unfortunately not. The stuns have been flashed away from, but at least the effort does count. I do want to at least consider that, you know, it's not he's not so much missing. He is trading flashes and losing his ult cooldown, to be fair, but trading flash at the very least, getting some pressure down. 3,500 gold for Curse Academy right now. The side lane push from Rux is there. And I want to see what Curse Academy can convert with now. Can they keep the pressure on, or will they get caught in a 5v4?
They see Evelynn, they catch her.
Wow. Wait, was she even in a pink ward, or did he like blind Q that?
She walked over the pink over there, and yes, he did blind Q afterwards.
Okay. Well, Glarbu gonna get hit a little bit onto the bomb. He goes for the stuff's gonna keep him alive. A great kick and a knock up. Altic is gonna go down. Has his KDA, and the fight continues. Double kill, huge numbers for Curse Academy. Only Yazuki left alive. Mid lane turret gonna be going down.
It's a 4-1, and Rux comes in from the side to just set that up, and they're saying, let's just tank it. Just tank it, it's fine. Rux has passive. He'll heal himself up off the minion wave if they allow him to.
And they could go to another one right here. They've got to be careful about the Baron, like, refight, like the re-engage, but it's unlikely with it being this early on. But Inhib turret will also go down here in Curse Academy's favor. Big gold lead from that one, 7,500 this early.
Once again, just like his Renekton games, when Rux gets ahead, he builds Phage, which only turns into Trinity Force.
Yes. Wise choice, man.
I don't agree with it, but it seems to be working
That's fine.
because it's allowing him to keep up to people, give him stick-to-itiveness again.
Yeah. I mean, he can wait on Phage for a while anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to pick up... Nope.
Nope.
Just kidding. He's going hard for that one. Okay. I thought he was going to wait for a bit. Nope. That is just in his inventory right now. Here we go. All right, Rux, don't let me down, man.
Wow.
Don't let me down.
He's got 100% win rate with Trinity Force so far. So
yeah. And a 0% win rate. No, 50% win rate without it.
Oh.
Well, here's the thing.
It's working.
He's a very bursty champion, and you can actually layer your abilities fairly well. All Aatrox's max E first. The cooldown's down to about 9 seconds. So you jump into the Q, land the auto attack. If you wanted to, you could wait on your ulti for 2 seconds. I don't think you would.
No.
I think you want it right away.
Yeah.
But you can then use Blades of Torment a little bit later to get the extra burst out.
But I think the whole point of Aatrox is you Q, E, R somebody immediately, so you can stack them all at the same time. Once you get the knock-up, you
his
use
caster
your R
burst is
immediately.
pretty high. Yeah, QR is right away. E you can wait because you've got the knock-up anyway.
You want to keep them close to you, though. You want to have that slow on. But, I mean, it's going to give him movement speed. It's going to give him everything else.
It is stat efficient if you want all the stats there. And even if you spend the 400 for mana, like, there's still a lot of other things there.
Rux has been watching Darien too much.
I don't know. Unless he was an Ohm Wrecker. It's not the real Darien swagger. All tech. Chilling with Blade of the Ruin King.
Let's see how much he actually hits for with that.
Oh, a lot.
We just smack somebody.
I mean, to be fair, actually, it works in... Okay, so I want to take a step back and kind of reaffirm why it's good.
Go ahead and...
I'm going to try again.
Try to make a case.
Because there's so many reasons that Trinity Force can be good that it's hard to find the right one.
Oh.
QRE auto attack is a freaking ton of burst. You trigger your third W to be ready. The Blood Price, plus the Trinity Force damage proc, plus your other 3 active abilities. And you've probably got like 1,200 burst damage. For that case, it super works. And then like you've got some attack speed and AD, which is just good.
At that point, I'd rather just buy a Hydra, jump into the fight, use the AoE active on it.
Way less stylish.
But then at the same time, it has AD ratios, which we talked about earlier on his W. He would be healing and doing more damage.
Well, he's got AP ratios too.
Okay, okay. You got me there. But here we have On the Hunt, and they're trying to get to Yazuki
7,
before he
6,
backs.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blind Q?
Nope.
Nope.
No liftoff.
Wrong brush. Why did you Boomerang with the same brush you warded? That's like a little bit weird, but you know, whatever.
So it's on the hunt to attempt to get the Rise.
Yeah.
It would have been good if he had actually gotten it, but now it's a wasted ultimate. And while we were talking about why Trinity Force would be so great, but it's not, Red was stolen away by Pat. They used zone control there. They knew it was a 4v5 at the Dragon. Curse Academy picks up another for themselves, making a 7k gold lead with this team that does have more late game power just because of the mid laner with the wave clear.
Yeah.
And I like seeing Duosec on this more than I liked his LeBlanc.
Yeah, doing pretty well for himself. 104, 170 CS, still getting out minion farmed by Bishu. Monster's part of that score. But Curse Academy team as a whole looking a little bit better. 8-1 on the scoreline, 5-0 in turrets. Good start for these guys. Bishu holding on to his blue buff, farming away. Death Cap coming up soon.
Highest farm in the game. Still above that 10 per minute mark. He's looking to be a big impact in the fights. If he can get a shockwave on 4 people, which is definitely within his grasp and definitely within his power, then it can turn the fight completely around. They aren't super tanky on the side of Curse Academy.
But they're just going to go for the mid lane.
Yeah, they want that inhibitor back.
Okay, well, Blood Price is prepared here for Rux. If he finds the burst, it'll be pretty high. Damage coming through for Mash. The recall for Rise has happened. Honestly, Curse Academy, they could just stick for this and get the damage down. Trinity Force proc's there. Rux is ready. Ready to hit.
He has the passive.
Curse Academy getting really afraid, but they're waiting for the next minion wave. They're confident in knowing that they will land the damage, and there they go. Inhibitor goes down 22-22 into the game. They're going to back off. Big minion wave bottom. They could cut off the rotate and get this turret down, but they're going to wait around in the jungle.
They had so many pink wards on their left and right when they were sieging that inhibitor because they didn't want Kez to be there.
Well, Kez is there, but it might just be enough to push down. The minions are going to die rather quickly, so poke on a Glebe. CA took their time. Again, that was a slower rotate than they needed. They could have gone through the back knowing where the rest of the team was and pushed that with the wave that was already there. They're going to wait for the next wave, though. They're playing it more patiently than I guess I would have, but...
Well, remember, last time I said they don't like to dive people under turrets unless it's Rux. That's the only exception here, and especially against somebody like Bishu on the Orianna, he will get your back line right under the turret and make them stay well past the time that they want to be there.
Well, here we go.
So they're just going to try to get some long-range damage on it, but they don't have long-range champions.
But they force Yazuki to come back to the mid lane to hold on. Super minions, even the mid lane actually, does pressure and hit turrets, or sorry, Nexus turrets really well actually. So that does pull the Rise away, and at this point it's 5v4. And look at this, the bomb coming out, and it's Aatrox showing up as well. They force the rest of C9T back, getting tier 2 turret.
There's a good loop around there by Rux to go ahead and route them, and then the Mega Inferno Bomb only hit Bishu, but there's enough damage to make him back off instead of try to re-engage a fight. Yazuki once again was not there. They're trying to clear out this mid lane. No Dragon or Baron in anybody's sights just yet.
But it's worth pointing out the top lane outer turret did go down to Yazuki's split a while back before he was pulled back to defend his base. 205 minions on Rise though. 0-1-0. Has a blue elixir if he needs it. Not a Fiend's. Archangel's done pretty soon. So the items are almost coming to completion right now for C9T. Phantom Dancer almost done. Death Cap almost done. Archangel's almost done. There's a power spike coming soon for these guys.
The question is, by the time they get that power spike, how much magic resist is going to be built up on Curse Academy?
True.
We do see that Rux opted just to go Merc Tread straight into Hex Drinker. No Maw this time. Trinity Force is going to help him out.
Oh yeah.
A little bit of extra HP.
300.
Yeah. And then a little bit of magic resist for Pat.
All right, he's really going.
There we go.
He's going all MR here.
There we go.
He always buys the Giant Spell. It's interesting. He just kind of keeps it there because think back to the beginning of Season 3, we made health the more efficient stat to buy, basically. If you wanted just like a catch-all defensive stat, it was health. So he just has the Giant Spell just to be a durable dude. Actually, did you know about Giant Spell? With Rux, with Aatrox specifically. So your abilities cost a percentage of your current health. And your Blood Well is just a static number. So the more health you have, the more Blood Well your abilities give. Meaning that your abilities give more attack speed with a Giant Spell.
Yeah, because it takes the HP that you spent and puts it in there.
Exactly. So it was actually a nice little soft synergy there that Rux has.
So when he blades, he'll get full.
Yeah, he gets more Blood Well than he would have without that item. So cool stuff there. Just thought I'd share that with you guys. It's actually a fun one-off item for that champion. Half HP for Rux. He's going to go with his team towards the Baron Pit. Curse Academy well in control of this area. Pink wards in the Baron Pit, very important. They're going to lose one on the road in, though. They've got another one that's going to watch Kez.
He sweeps it out with Bishu.
Pink ward over the wall. So they know that there was ward coverage. Both a pink and a green ward there. So they know that they can't sneak in.
It's a big minion wave down bottom that's going to start pushing this turret for Cloud9 Tempest.
Yep.
Instead, they're going to give him a dose of their own medicine. This is the bush that Cloud9 Tempest camped in last time.
All right, Protect goes on to Kez. Glarabu into the front. There's the jump in from Rux. Will they find much? A great shockwave onto 3. K1 goes down. Can they find anything else for this fight? Nope, just the 1 for 0.
And that was on Curse Academy side too. They lost a member. They lost
was a great
K1.
engage. Glebe ran into the brush expecting the engage and flashed out of it right away. He baited the engage right there. Exceptionally smart play by him. Mid lane turret goes down. Bot lane went down to the minions actually. And now Dragon as well getting picked up. Cloud9 Tempest just picked up 3 global objectives in the span of 20 seconds.
And the only member to actually die on Curse Academy side is Pat. So once again, he needs to start stepping it up. We do expect supports to die most of the time. But being the only person to die on your team and give up objectives off the back of it this late in the game is not good. But Curse Academy, they're trying to get back into this by doing a sneaky Baron. They all went over the wall.
That's so good. Yeah, Mash Me, whatever. That's fine. They had ward control the whole time, but they didn't lose it. C9T capitalized by getting turrets and a dragon, not by getting ward coverage over Baron. Great pickup by Curse Academy.
Oh, they're going to go over the wall straight for Yazuki.
And again, he doesn't know they're there. They have no way of knowing this.
Cut off his route with slows.
And he's going to kick it into the wall, pops the shield. Not going to matter. Almost greedy by Pat. That was actually close to him going down right there.
I like how he pulled off at first.
Yeah, but you saw Yazuki save his spells, and that almost got a little bit too greedy. Kill picked up, though. Curse Academy wearing a bunch of Baron buffs. Really good turn back from them. So now, it's going to be, 38k to 45, so still holding on to a 7,000 gold lead, but now with Baron buff, it's a big lead to Curse Academy right now on the map.
Yeah, 7 turrets up. They have the middle inhibitor up again. So that's going to be the next place that Curse Academy pushes with probably a mixture of shoving a side minion wave and then rotating to it after they get the inhib down. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Rux just push this bottom and then go ahead and have the 4 members remaining push the mid lane up until they're ready to get the inhib.
So here we go. Mash Me being given the farm. You're seeing actually, it's actually very interesting the way the farm is split up. So, of course, Duosec is not taxing his jungle very much. So, Rux, Duosec, and Mash all have pretty much equal minion kills. And actually almost equal kill participation. They're all kind of doing the same things for the team, showing up equally to team fights as well as to their own lanes. Whereas for Cloud9 Tempest, you're seeing a very different setup there. Altec's been kind of getting garbage lanes the whole time. He's only getting some cleanup farm. He's getting only 180 minions. Bishu's been just taxing the jungle the whole time, and Yazuki's been split pushing. So Altec's actually going to take a lot longer to come online. He's only got 2 completed items to Mash's 3, which is actually really, at this point, not enough damage for Altec.
Yeah, and also the fact that magic resist has been prioritized by Curse Academy over some type of attack speed slow or just HP and armor in general means that the 2 members of Cloud9 Tempest that have high farm are going to be a little shut down.
Exactly. I mean, you still can't, aside from actually having a Banshee's Bell shut down a Shockwave, but there's only 1 done so far here for Rux, but he's ready to take the front lines. Probably about 140 MR on him right here. Plenty happy to be that guy.
The Trinity Force. It's coming up big for him again.
It is. 4-0-1, man.
He hasn't died with it yet.
And we're going to look now for the mid lane. The inhibitor, of course, has respawned, but look how fast that dies.
Bishu has no armor. Just took a big chunk from Mash Me.
Painful stuff. Aegis also done for Pat. I know we tend to see Randuin's rushed a lot by the junglers here, but he went Lizard Elder into a pretty early Aegis of the Legion, so extra 20 MR to his teammates there, further shutting down Bishu and Yazuki. This is looking very good. It's a lot on Altec's shoulders right now.
Yeah, it really is. And last game he delivered, but now the rest of his team are a little heavier.
Yeah, they are, unfortunately.
Curse Academy prolonged the laning phase. They're up in kills, up in objectives, gold, and now they have the items to back up these team fights.
And remember, this sort of early game happened last time. Curse Academy hitting a 5,000 or so gold lead by about this point, maybe a little bit earlier. And Cloud9 Tempest found their way back in because Kez found miracle engages with Pantheon. Time and again, found really, really good fights that his team could follow up on. The switch to Evelynn, this was C9T who banned the Pantheon, lost that way into the game. Their only engages are the straightforward normal ones. And like, yeah, Eve can flank, but the Eve engage is nothing like a Panth engage.
And they first picked their jungler too.
Yeah, they rushed that Evelynn.
And now you're kind of wondering, is the Pantheon probably would have fit a little better into the late game.
Yeah, right. If you're going to first pick something.
Who's going to engage? Now they're going to try to do a submarine type thing, throw the ball onto Kez, and have him walk straight into the team. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think all the engage is going to come on from Curse Academy's side.
Yeah.
And Cloud9 Tempest is going to have to back up and try to counter-engage, keep them at an arm's distance. But I don't know how possible that is.
Well, the one thing that does go to C9T's favor is that Curse Academy are mediocre at killing turrets. Sivir's the worst turret killer among AD carries, I guess second to Urgot, because she's just so short-ranged. But Duosec on Ziggs is amazing at it. So they've got some good graces and some bad spots here. We'll see if they can get the turret down because Shockwave is so good at stopping these turret sieges.
Like
there it is. Gonna be the jump in, Duosec low on health, Mash me in a bad spot as well. Rune Prison gonna get him taken down. Kill picked up by Altec, but the re-engage comes in for Rux. Can they find the damage? Yazaki is gonna go down 1-for-1 so far. What else will happen? Rux loses the passive. Minefield is down, flashed away from the hook that was going to land. Kez, one shot from dead, the 1-for-1 trade. CA backs up, goes back forward.
They lost their turret pusher, so it's going to be on Duosec's shoulders here. He does have the wave clear, but the damage is lacking.
Remember, there's a giant mini wave pushing down the mid lane as well, so they're trying to pressure.
Bishu, he gets his ball onto anybody and uses his dissonance, they would die. And Curse Academy realized that and back off.
Yeah. They almost got to capitalize off the inhibitor that was dead, but not quite anything more. 1-for-1 trade, AD carry traded for the top laner there, Yazaki 0-3-1. Here we go, let's watch the fight again.
Going to see the shockwave as we were talking about it. Speak of the devil, boom. Hits 3 actually in there, and they try to get in, and here comes the Mega Inferno Bomb in the lockup, up into the knockup from Rux, but it didn't knock anybody up. If it had landed and knocked them up, it would have been a much better trade there for Curse Academy in that fight.
Rux could have actually waited the extra quarter second to walk a bit forward, but you also did see the Tibbers Inferno Bomb. C9T still picked the one up anyway, but yeah, such good burst damage available there. Altec, a little bit low.
Isn't available, but here comes
Jumps
Pat.
to the ward. Q's gonna land. Good damage kick. No, see, there's the condemn. There's the condemn that lets you kind of outplay that a little bit.
Shockwave just got used though.
Oh my gosh,
on one person.
Not ideal to jump for. The land was gonna get him safe though. Ulti's getting traded around a little bit there. Everybody back to safe.
Meanwhile, in Rux land, he's go ahead and pushing the mid lane in, just causing some map pressure and trying to get himself bigger. Looks like he might be going for GA.
Yeah.
I think he'd go GA Randuin's at this point.
That's probably the ideal build for him at this point. Yeah.
Go ahead and give himself more lives.
Yeah, I mean, Ma would still be good for him.
He'll eventually finish it.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, that's kind of last item. I would definitely want a Randuin's pretty soon, though. I'm actually surprised that he went for Chain Vest. I would actually prefer Randuin's over GA, but, you know, Rux has his crazy builds and they work for him, so I can't really complain. All I can say is I'm surprised. Not that I'm, like, saying it's bad.
That's true. That his crazy builds do tend to work for him. We saw Trinity Force on Renekton, and he was just stomping with it, because every time he'd clear a minion wave out in the middle of a fight, it would give him the bonus movement speed.
Just run at people.
It was ridiculous. Baron's live once again. They're trying to get vision of this area and set up for another unfavorable situation for Cloud9 Tempest where they had to face check.
And Curse Academy has good ward coverage for this. The Ziggs Bomb not gonna... I'm surprised by that because he could use it for the impending team fight for the actual Baron. But Curse Academy might just play the Siege game for a while and try to get mid-inhibitor back down before they keep going. 5.8 thousand gold lead. Less than before. I mean, to be fair, this gold lead is actually shrinking right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Which you've got to be concerned about when you're Curse Academy. There is still a Rise and a Vayne on the enemy team.
Rise and the Vayne haven't done much this game. But Glebe, haven't talked about him much. Again, his hooks and more of his lanterns have actually been on point this game, getting people out. And now Cloud9 Tempest are actually in the driver's seat of this area.
Now they're going to sweep away the pink wards, plural, in this area. Those are both really good pink ward spots. I actually much prefer pink wards in the Baron Pit to using the sweeper, because you can continually keep killing the wards as they keep coming down. But the inside tracker for Curse Academy, they're going down the mid lane, forcing the recalls from C9T. C9T got some ward coverage down over the Baron Pit, but this could be a very, very fast inhib kill.
No home guards on any of the members.
Gotta watch out for the hook.
Oh,
one more hit. Rux gets it. 5-0-1 on him. Honestly, big scoreline. This is good. Okay, so inhib goes back down. It's going to continue to create pressure here. Curse Academy, if they have enough Sightstone charges, can get control back over the Baron Pit, but they're out of pink wards.
It's true. So they can't deny the vision. They're going to have to wait for the sweepers. They have 2 up. Had to hit him in the right spots. 1!
Ooh, barely caught that one, too. K1 barely got rid of that ward.
Oh, is he actually going to... He's a little delayed to get back to his team. Nobody's going to take advantage of that. That's good for him. got to make sure. You just got to sweep and make sure that there's nothing there.
I mean, it's 4 sweepers versus 3. They've got a lot of ward sweeping available.
K1's been missing his Tibbers, and I was going to say earlier that the best flash Tibbers are the ones that people don't expect.
Yeah.
If you see an Annie who's playing like K1 is right now, you're like, oh, he wants to flash Tibbers us. So you have to come from blind spots. You have to sweep out an area, basically play it like a Fiddlesticks ultimate.
Yeah.
Just get in there and make sure that they don't have any time to react. And if they do, it's tiny, tiny window.
Or you kind of wait around and you kind of wait for the fight to actually start. Let Ziggs poke, let Sivir throw out her boomerangs and whatnot, right? And then make your opponents realize, okay, we have to dodge other skill shots, get their mind off it, and just ult in the middle of a team fight.
Yeah, and Cloud9 Tempest, they are up 1 in this series. In Curse Academy, they're trying to even it up, and they're in a good position.
Great Ziggs ult, though.
Cleared the wave.
Save the turret.
Save the turret. Do some damage to Cloud9 Tempest. And now that bottom minion wave is actually pushing in favor of Curse Academy, and they might have to answer that soon for Cloud9 Tempest.
Yeah.
Super minions in the mid lane, regular minions in the bottom lane, and the Curse Academy on Baron. This is where Cloud9 Tempest has to make a good decision.
And a new pink ward for K1. He can get that into the Baron pit. And I'm also surprised, actually, the lack of Aegis for Cloud9 Tempest because Ziggs is such a factor here. Locket would be pretty big for these guys. Glarp, wow, he flashed early. He was afraid of that one. Got himself the heck out of there. Baron taking damage. It's going to be the trade, though. Cloud9 Tempest is going to go for the inhibitor as a trade for Baron. But no, they can't even get that far. They back off after turret number 2.
Wow, so they traded turret for the Baron. And now down bottom, that turret's taking some damage.
Well, look at this.
Curse Academy goes straight for it.
They think they can backdoor the, I think it's the inhibitor respawn, actually. I'm trying to think of the timer on it, but they're just like running down to the jungle looking to catch something.
Might be Kez on the backside.
This is secret agent stuff. I mean, this must have been Pat's call, 007.
Ooh.
They're not finding anyone.
This is
Okay,
they're finding Altec.
Altec's got nowhere to go. This is going to be risky. Popsy ulti has stealth. Mash me. Spell shields the condemned. Kill comes in a duosec. They've got a mini wave to push 5v4 with the Baron buff.
They're going to take this turret unless there's a perfect counter engage here from Bishu. But chances of that are very, very low. He's trying to get the Banshee's Veil off. Can he set up the correct engage for his team?
Mashme predicted the flasher in prison. Didn't find it, though. Put the spell shield on. Half HP turret right now. See if they can keep going. 35 seconds until Altec comes back up. Duosec still trying to spam. Lands a bomb on a Bishu. Blue elixir ticking on that guy. Baron buff helping. Gonna push forward again. Turret's about 3 seconds from dead, and down it goes onto the inhibitor. 20 seconds still until Altec comes up, and a gigantic double-spawned minion wave is coming down the mid lane right now. Mid inhibitor about to be respawning soon, I believe, and Curse Academy about to wait for super-duper minions in the mid lane. They might backdoor top on the way. We'll see.
Rux is actually over the wall.
They find the engagement. Bishu goes down. The Tibbers finally lands. The flash Tibbers for K1. It's going to be a 5 versus 4 with Baron buff again and super minions. Can they make this happen to close the game out?
He's got the stun.
They're going to get stunned to Kez. Not going to do too much from that. Minefield down as well. Health bar still getting lower. The engage comes in. Both turrets are dead. Can they close out the Nexus now? Still 40 seconds to 5v4. Hitting down on the Nexus. Cat running around, picks up the kill. Nexus is going to be falling down. Kez taking pain as well. This is sure to be the game. And Curse Academy ties it up 1-1.
And Curse Academy, they pull it out there. They played the composition correctly this time, where they got the early game lead, and they kept it, and they had objective control from the start. And I love Duosec on the Ziggs. LeBlanc is his most played in solo queue, but his performance on that was not team-oriented.
Yeah.
This time, the Ziggs, the wave clear, the Mega Inferno Bomb to keep Cloud9 Tempest off of objectives was crucial. It was a wave clear that they were lacking in Game 1.
Yeah, and it just worked so well. I like Curse Academy shot calling. It's interesting. I've been watching this a little bit during their games, and after I railed on Rux for saying, "Oh, you took a minion wave and it gave away Dragon," I started watching that more closely. They were giving away minion waves on turrets. They even lost actual turrets to minion waves in order to position better for objectives, and they started getting a lot more focus on what's important right now and making sure they controlled those. Curse Academy, I think, grew a little bit in that game.
Yeah, and I really, really liked the fact that he won with Trinity Force again. I'm going to say I really like it, but I don't.
You really like it. I really like it.
Because it's a 100% win rate for Renekton, Aatrox, champions that don't even use like a third of the stats on it. It's like, Mana, we don't need that. AP,
technically helps.
It technically helps very minusculely.
Yeah. I mean, it's there for the burst. It's there to convert an early mid-game lead into removing a target, right?
Don't make an argument for this. Don't make an argument.
But it's what they're trying to do. I'm not saying it's necessarily the most efficient, but it is the best choice for that role of the champion. If you're like, look, we got to kill Altec, It's the best choice for that.
Yeah, and they did do that.
Yes,
Altec ended the game 2-3-0. It's completely different than his 7-0 and 14.
Yeah,
from
13,
the first
14,
game.
17, like a high number regardless.
A lot of assists on him, and now he's actually had 3 deaths, so his KDA.
Yeah.
So if nothing else was accomplished now from Curse Academy, and they don't win the 3rd game, they still got rid of his KDA.
They cut it by a 1/3, so did a good job there. And also to point out is 3-0-7 for the mid lane Ziggs, 3-1-6 for the AD carry Sivir right there for Curse Academy. Mashme still had a very good game, right? First game didn't die, died and won.
Yep.
So deaths have a 1-1 correlation with winning games so far for Curse Academy on Mashme. But also just kind of to point out that I know you talked about it when the game ended, but the Ziggs pickup worked so much better for Duosec. I tend to agree. I'm thinking of other champions that fill a Ziggs type role and can play long range wave clearers.
Gragas.
Yeah, Gragas is in there. Lulu's there. Even Orianna, if he can play it, like will be one of those safe. I will lane. I'll put down AOE and participate in fights. I want to see that continue for him because that's the role that is working for these guys.
Yeah.
Other adaptations I see, the Sivir ban I think is going to come through or get it contested. I think Mashme is starting to put a little bit too much pressure there.
What do you give up for that though? Do you not? Oh, I guess they could stop banning the Pantheon. And pick it up for themselves?
Well,
that was really strange.
It is weird, but also remember that side switches as well. Last
Yeah.
time around, both Lulu and Kassadin were banned away by Cloud9 Tempest when they were on red. They actually kept the Kassadin ban on blue side as well, but the Lulu ban switched sides. So like, there's sometimes less available because they've got to worry about Lulu, maybe worry about Elise and things like that. But I think Sivir is a very real thing to be afraid of. And honestly, to be completely fair, Pat, he won the jungle matchup, Lee Sin versus Evelynn.
Yeah.
He out-jungled heavily, great counter-jungling. But, like, at that point, it's like, do you really need to ban Elise? Do you really need to ban Pantheon? All these things. Like, he's going to have X impact kind of regardless, no matter how deep you cut his champion pool.
Yeah, and the fact that
Give that away.
Cloud9 Tempest, they're playing for the late game with this composition with Ryze, Orianna, and Vayne that they've run both games.
Yeah.
And they don't have a lot of bans to spare when they are on red side. Like you said, Lulu, Kassadin.
Yeah.
That's what they got to get rid of. That 3rd ban, they want to use it on a jungler because junglers have the highest early game presence.
Yeah.
So they want to take something off like Pantheon or Kha'Zix or Elise, which is the highest one right now. And Dexter was talking about it on the desk earlier today about how ferocious Elise is in the early game. So get that factor out of there. Then you can have your early game flourish and possibly come out with the W, but they didn't in this game. Because the Evelynn, in my opinion, they didn't have enough early game presence versus somebody like Lee Sin.
Yeah. So let's stretch it around a little bit.
Yeah.
So we can talk about individual champions, individual plays. We can talk about Risers, Aatrox, all that. What do we think about Cloud9 Tempest changing their game plan? So both games, right? Late game Ryze, late game Vayne, Orianna protects, junglers, whatever the heck you can get. And it says, let's play a longer game. Curse Academy are not letting them do that. CA playing a great early mid game. Both times they've proved it. 2v1 lanes, 1v1 lanes, doesn't matter. They're making better rotations, finding better counter ganks. The first 20 minutes have been theirs both times.
Yeah.
To me, C9T, rethink your lineup. Play Caitlyn into Sivir instead of Vayne into Sivir. Both are great matchups, but for different reasons. Go get your early game leads, right? Use the fact that Bishu's winning the mid lane, and do things with that. Don't allow yourself to get the Ryze versus Aatrox counterpick again.
Yeah.
Get better lanes, play from there.
Yeah, and Curse Academy, like you said, they're adjusting their strategy as it goes on. They said, we didn't have enough wave clear, let's make a little tweak. And boom, pulled it out for them. Now they're going to game 3 here. And this is the crucial game 3. Whoever wins this goes up against LMQ and gets a bye.
Gets a first-round bye in the playoffs, which means actually, just for what it's worth, that either one of those or LMQ will be in the relegation tournament. For sure, because someone's going to get 3rd place in there at least. Now, guys, just like that, Curse Academy and Cloud9 are now tied at 1-1. We got to jump into a quick commercial break. When we come back, it's going to be the decisive Game 3 for the trip to the finals of the Challenger Series. Don't go away.